Hello guys, sorry.
Well, yeah, so I don't know what happened there. YouTube just didn't want to work with the phone, I guess. So I'm using a new iPhone now, and I thought everything would be just fine, but it didn't want to work. So here we are, back behind the wheel of the Cullinan, and as folks filter in, we'll answer the questions. Sorry, this is going to be 2 different videos now, because the YouTube app didn't want to work. But if you remember, do you remember any of the questions that were being asked, Patrick?
No, it was just kept saying, don't go.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry guys, wasn't trying to end the video early or anything. That was just the YouTube app not working with the phone.
I realized right away and stuff, and I tried to fix it, but it just wouldn't let me. It just froze.
Yeah.
DOL 66 apps.
Yeah,
Super
just went
quiet.
completely blank screen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just assume you guys are asking about how the ride quality is, and I'll tell you what, it's crazy good. For an SUV, like, this is silky smooth, and Patrick already said it, it's so quiet in here.
Maximilian, thank you. Sorry, man, I don't know what happened, but
yeah, thanks for anyone popping back in.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was weird. Out of nowhere, it just froze. On the little screens here. Oh, actually, Jesus Soto, thank you, man. You're right. Asking about the BMW parts.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm not sure how much I got in before the video cut out, but they do a good job of what BMW parts are in this one. They hide them very well. So, like, there's a skin on the infotainment system that is a BMW iDrive system, but they put a little different, like, the graphics are different, the orientation here, the Spirit of Ecstasy is here on your iDrive selector instead of it just being, I don't know, whatever BMW puts on their iDrive selector. There is this bit of plastic here that is that we talked about earlier. That is, I'll go left. That's a shared BMW part. You'll see that on other BMW vehicles. And apart from that, like, it's kind of all Rolls-Royce from there. Like, there may be components that BMW uses in their vehicles for how the AC works and all that kind of stuff, but they're hidden behind Rolls-Royce's own dials, their own settings. Like, you have a soft, medium, and high. They wouldn't call it low, they'd call it soft for your dual zone climate control system. How you adjust the air temperature, you have these dials that you move along, and they have a very cool haptic response to them as you crank these along for your hot or cold air. And all of these selections are real metal, so you're not going to find other BMW parts in here apart from those few that I mentioned. Not visible, not ones that you'd interact with.
Let's see.
And
Tabbo asked, are you doing a POV video?
Yes, of course. POV test drives are coming day and night, and then I'll also have a drive impressions video that I will record soon.
The DJL66 asked, do you think the Bentayga has a better looking interior?
Yeah, I mean, like, it really just depends on...
Maybe the colors, I think.
Well, so, yeah, I mean, you can get this, like, that's the thing, like, either Bentley or Rolls-Royce, you can customize your interior so many different ways. So, for me to say, yeah, it's better or not, that's just how this one is spec'd.
Yeah.
Like, they spec'd this one in a more dark, more monotone. You do have the red that kind of splash in there, but more monotone design. But you can get it with open pore woods, brighter open pore woods like a beech wood or something. You can get brighter colored leathers, and it's going to make it pop more than this one. The Bentayga, I mean, we talked about BMW parts in a Rolls-Royce. The Bentayga is going to have Volkswagen Auto Group parts in a Bentley, so you're not going to really be able to escape that depending on whether you go Bentley or Rolls-Royce. The aesthetic of the Bentayga, I'm not going to say it's any better than this. It's kind of just sort of like a different flavor, a different taste.
Does it have a sport mode?
The low range mode here up on the drive mode selector, that is your sport mode. So you hit this and it will kick you down a gear, and it will give you sharper throttle response. And this thing is actually pretty quick.
Yeah,
563
they said
horsepower.
to floor it.
Yeah, it's,
when you get a chance. Oh yeah.
and that's the only time you're going to hear that V12 is if you absolutely floor it in low range mode. Otherwise,
yeah, it's not
it just
slow.
kind of just blends in the background.
That's crazy.
But it's pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
And that's a mid-range blast.
Let's see. Harsh asked, do you think they should have added at least a sport mode in it? Especially given a V12?
No, I don't really think that's the Rolls-Royce thing. Like
yeah.
their thing is in sport. If you want sportier driving dynamics of your Cullinan, you get the black badge model with more power and bigger brakes. But its sport mode is not really a Rolls-Royce touch. That's a BMW touch, not a Rolls-Royce touch. So I don't think that really belongs in here. That's why they don't even call it sport. But your sport mode is the low range mode.
Black badge is more exclusive?
More expensive, and so therefore more exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, someone just asked about that right now. Let's see. Jesus Soto asked, which interior would you choose for your Rolls-Royce?
I really like their beechwood trim is beautiful, and the texture of the wood is phenomenal. And I love navy colored interiors, and so I think that what we did. That looks like a very OG.
Yeah, NSX.
NSX.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's ever been touched. The lady who's driving it doesn't seem to even really appreciate her. I'm not going to judge her. She doesn't seem like she's a big enthusiast. And you can see some damage on the back bumper there too. Interesting. Yeah, it hasn't been touched. So the beechwood trim, I really like the navy leathers for interiors, so I think I would probably choose that for my Rolls-Royce or for my Bentley, whichever one I had.
Super smooth.
Oh yeah. And now we're at like solid freeway speeds, and it's still extremely quiet in here. Guys, keep in mind how this vehicle is shaped, in that it's not aerodynamic at all, and yet it's this quiet.
Shampoo asked, does it feel like a firm BMW?
No.
And how does the steering wheel feel?
The steering wheel is loose so I shouldn't say loose. Loose is not the right word. The steering wheel the feedback is gentle. It's not super direct. It's not ultra responsive. It's about what I would expect from a Rolls-Royce. But the ride quality is not at all firm. This is not BMW firmness at all.
Harsh asks, the specs, what do you think about the specs on this?
I think so Rolls-Royce always used to say that their horsepower was adequate. Like, they wouldn't give you a horsepower figure, they would just say it was adequate. And I would definitely say adequate is putting it mildly. There's plenty of power here.
Plenty, yeah.
It's heavy, but the heaviness translates to solid and just quality. And so I think the specs are just what I would hope for in something of this price and this exclusivity.
Let's see. Does it feel like driving on clouds?
Yeah, I mean, like, so that's another sort of saying that people say about Rolls-Royces. What's they call it? Riding on pillows or riding on clouds.
That's right.
The term they use is magic carpet ride quality. I think that's actually very fitting, because a magic carpet ride wouldn't be perfectly smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as in, like, it would have some undulations, and you'd have the wind and certain things to move around. That feels like this, where you are disconnected from the road in all of its imperfections, but you still feel like I'm driving a car. I'm not floating along in a spaceship.
Let's see. Warship Kids asks, this or the G63 AMG?
Oh boy, such different experiences. I would argue completely opposite experiences. The G63 is all about the sound, and although it's going to be changing to electric, that's going to be weird. But it's all about the sound for now, and it's the theater, and it's loud, and the way it closes the doors, and all these details. Whereas this is the exact opposite. This is about making you as calm and as disconnected from everything else as possible.
There is no sunroof on this.
Yeah, no sunroof because it has the Starlight headliner. So that's an option. You get the
So you
Starlight.
could have one.
You could get a sunroof, yeah.
Well, I mean, you could have whatever you want in this car.
Yeah, but the Starlight comes with this perforated leather that just feels so good.
Yeah, it does.
So I would prefer this. But G63 or this, I'm gonna say like my speed is more G63. I like the loud, I like the brash, and I just like the tactile feel of those doors and the way it goes down the road. But this is very calming, I'll tell you that. It's really smooth.
Kabat asked, how does it feel? Oh, well, throttle response and brake feel. I mean, Colin asked, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean,
sorry.
Everything it does is relaxed. So the throttle response in normal mode is relaxed. It just kind of eases you forward, but it's a 12-cylinder engine, so it does so very smoothly. The additional cylinders just translates to less vibration coming through the cabin because the engine doesn't have to work as hard. So everything it does is smooth, the way it accelerates, the way it brakes. Well, we don't have a red light here, but if that light goes red, for example, I could show you the braking. But it's also just smooth. It's a big, heavy vehicle, and so it's not going to like stop on a dime or anything.
Yeah.
You're going to need to brake early enough.
Kabad asks, honestly, do you think it's worth the money?
It's such a difficult question to answer, Kavad, because the people who have this kind of money to afford these vehicles, it's whatever they want. It's not. They're not shopping cars based on certain specifications. So I'll use the brakes here because I don't want to run the yellow. And you can see it's just sort of like eases
smooth,
to a spot. Stop. Very smooth. You hear no squeal or anything from the brakes. But back to your question, is it worth the money? Well, if you have the money for this, then you have the money for 10 other cars. Why not? If you wanted a Rolls-Royce driving experience in an SUV form, why would you get anything else? You'd get this.
True.
But you'd also get this, and you get a Range Rover, and you would get an Urus, for the sporty side of SUV motoring. Like, you have this money, and it's not a worth the money thing. It's a do I want it or not.
It's crazy, huh?
That's it.
To be at that point.
Yeah. At that point in life, have that amount of money, it's do I want it.
Jesus Soto asks, perforated headliner like this or the non-perforated, like the Maybach GLS?
That's a good question. You know what? I like the uninterrupted, like fully non-perforated leather feel that I was in that Flying Spur. I loved that texture, so I would say I would choose that.
Let's see.
I just can't get over how smooth this is.
Yeah.
Cruising.
I feel relaxed in the back. It's not. Let's see. Kabada. So let's say that you're a billionaire and things get heated. Is it fast enough to be a getaway vehicle?
Things get heated. I like that. It's fast enough for sure. Yeah, I mean, 563 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. That's nothing to smirk at. That's to scoff at, rather. That's a lot of power, and you feel it when you put your foot down.
Cool screen right here. How's the entertainment system in the front?
The infotainment system is fine. It is a touchscreen if you want that, but you also have the iDrive selector down here. It's really responsive. It's not the skin that they put on the system. It's not the most vivid, so there's not really the coolest graphics or anything on this display. It all just works fine, but it all kind of goes with the theme of tranquil luxury, and so you're not going to be distracted by these graphics. That's not the purpose of this infotainment system.
Someone asked, would you add an aftermarket exhaust system on this?
I mean, sure, why not?
If you want,
I guess, but that's just, again, it's at odds with the purpose of the Cullinan and the purpose of other Rolls-Royce vehicles, which is just to sort of like mellow out your life. Like the idea for Rolls-Royce, as they've communicated it to me, is like you've got enough chaos in your life. When you hop in your car, it's supposed to be as calm and as tranquil as possible.
That's what you're getting.
An exhaust system, you'd put that on your G63. You get you get your Brabus exhaust on your G63, but you would kind of leave this the way it is. Aftermarket tuning of Cullinans.
Is that a thing? No.
If it is, I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
And I don't think they would have a
shouldn't.
big market for it. Yeah, it feels wrong.
Yeah, it feels wrong. Let's see. Alabama Car Spotter asks, Cullinan or the Audi RS Q8?
Oh man, I really like the RS Q8. I think
Yeah,
I'd
I
go with
like
that
it.
one. I'd go with that
I
one.
love it.
Because
yeah.
it's super smooth. The ride quality in that one is super smooth from their air suspension, but it's stinking fast. Like this is fast, but that's like really, really fast. And I like how that one looks. I like the RS Q8.
Yeah.
So I'd go with that one. The tech is also a bit more sophisticated in that one.
Neil asked, do you agree that the interior of the Bentley is nicer than the Rolls-Royce?
Which Bentley and which Rolls-Royce? The Bentayga versus this?
Just the brand is...
I wouldn't say nicer. Like, nicer to me is quality of the materials and fit and finish, how things are put together. And I don't think Bentley is any nicer than Rolls-Royce. I wouldn't say it's, if anything, less nice. I think it's just like I said, it's just a different flavor. They are a rival for a reason. They're a less expensive rival, and they also are just not sort of, I would think, esteemed quite as high as Rolls-Royce is. You say Rolls-Royce and it's sort of like this, it's a huge impact. Bentley still like, wow, but it's not the same impact. But I wouldn't say it's any less or more nice than the Rolls-Royce because the quality of materials is really even between the two.
Dylan, I was about to just ask about that.
Yeah.
The air vents. I feel in this one, the AC, is cold.
Yeah, is it?
It's cold.
Really
and
cold?
I like it.
That's
like
funny.
it. But
that and also the air vents themselves are made of real metal.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
See,
that's
like,
first.
I just love that sound, and that's just like, that's that quality sound right there. Do we have other questions rolling in? Because if not, I'm probably gonna wrap this one up.
No, that's
even though it was 2 videos, we're still...
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened and stuff, but it just completely...
Yeah, that was
froze.
weird, guys. YouTube just...
Oh, actually, one question.
Okay.
How does it feel going over bumps?
It's sort of like, you know that there's a bump, right? Like you feel your body undulate, but you don't feel the impact of the bump like you do in another car. In another car, it would like kind of rattle you a little bit, but in this car, it does. You just sort of like, you just roll over it. You roll over bumps in the car. You don't hit bumps. That's if I was going to condense it to.
Another question. Do you feel from Forest? Do you think that the interior feels outdated?
Oh man. The technology, as I said, is not the most cutting edge.
Yeah.
I would, in Rolls-Royce's favor, like I said, they're not trying to sort of glitz and glam you with the latest and greatest technologies. So it feels dated in that, there are a lot of buttons and dials and things like this, but I feel like that customer wants to not have to think about things. And so when they want an AC, if they want more or less air, they want to crank a dial. They don't want to sit there and tap on the infotainment to make the AC have more air at a lower temperature. They don't want to think about it. And so dated is, it sounds like I'm really just trying to defend Rolls-Royce, but I'm trying to defend the idea of why they do the things that they do.
Classic car, maybe? I mean,
classic,
more value for...
Classic, but also, again, just that theme of calming the passenger, calming their drivers. They have certainly the money and sophistication to do much crazier technology, and I think it'll come, but I don't think until that technology is as effortless to use as cranking a dial, I don't think we're going to see it in Rolls-Royces, and I don't think it should be here in a Rolls-Royce.
Jesus Soto asks, Volvo XC90 Excellence, seats, or this? And which one would you pick?
These seats 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, they're so cushy.
Yeah. I could actually, it's weird because I don't usually fall asleep in cars. I can't.
Yeah.
But this, I feel like I could fall asleep.
I sat down and I was like, I could fall asleep in these seats.
Give me a blanket.
Yeah, I could fall
good.
asleep in those seats for sure. No, I was in the same way. Like, they're so thickly padded and the leather is so nice. Like, these all day.
Let's see. The only cheap thing that we found was just a piece of plastic in the back.
Yeah, so there's a
and
piece of
then
plastic in the back. These stalks on the turning, or the column are cheaper plastic than I really think they should be. I think these should be metal. That would be another cool tactile feel, kind of like these plungers
texture
here.
or something.
Yeah, texture. It needs something better because that's a little cheaper. That's the only one. These right here are the only ones that really upset me because we found, I mean, there's a little plastic behind the rear view mirror, but who cares? This is one I was like, I want that to be better.
This or the Cadillac Escalade?
I really like how the Escalade looks.
I know you said that. Yeah.
I love how the Escalade looks. I think it's so awesome.
This on a road trip, or this?
Oh man, this.
Yeah.
Like this, it's just so much more comfortable, right? Like if you want tech, bring your tablet with you or something in this. But if you just want the smoothest, most comfortable ride, this would be a killer road tripper. It wouldn't get even as good fuel economy as the Cadillac. That gets 16 combined. This is 14. So you're gonna fill up more, but who cares? You get the money for it.
Maximilian, we did test the brakes and stuff, and it was super smooth.
Yeah, it just eased to a stop. Everything it does is easy and smooth.
Lex Gamer, no sunroof.
Yeah, no sunroof.
There is an option for it.
Yeah, this one just has the Starlight headliner, so it has perforated leather with all these little LEDs.
Yeah, Maximilian, we did stop driving and stuff. Well, we were on our other live, but just something happened.
Yeah, the live video just cut out. We're not sure why on YouTube's app side. But thanks, guys, for joining in this one. And yeah, I'm sorry it was split into 2 videos. That's really kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I will have POV drives for this one, day and night, and drive impressions. And again, thank you, Cool Boy User Yay, for being a YouTube member. And if you want to join him, guys, just please join up on the channel. We got different perks for you. And we'll see you again at the next live Q&A.
Before we end, what's next?
The next vehicle in our live Q&A, actually, this is a great plug for YouTube memberships because I give a 7-day preview of what vehicles I have coming next at the just one up from channel membership level. So, guys, go join that. I'll tell you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.